Antasha and my matrix number is 06DPR21F1015.
Hi, my name is SITI MAISARAH binti Mohd Sobri. My matrix number is 06DPR21F1048.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is SYAFIQAH binti YUSLIZAM and my matrix number is 06DPR21F1040.
As we all know, most businesses have a large quantity of purchases on credit. In order to organize the business debt to the supplier, purchase journal is needed. Now, what is purchase journal? Well, purchase journal is a special journal that mainly used to record inventory purchases on credit. After a credit purchase has been made, an invoice is usually sent by the supplier demanding payment on a certain date. An invoice is a source of document which provides the records of the purchases transaction. Now, this is how a purchase journal looks like. Starting from the first column, the date of the purchases were made. Next column is the particular, which is the name of the supplier. Third column would be the folio, and then on the fourth column is the reference. Lastly is the price in RM, which will tell the business how much is the price of the purchases. Here's an example I can give. First, the business made a purchase with Pemasaran neighborhood on 5 January. So, we record the date of the purchase was made. Then, we record the name of the supplier, which is Pemasaran neighborhood. Next, on the folio and reference is not available. Therefore, we don't need to write anything on that column. After that, we record the price of the purchases in RM. Same goes to Felix Enterprise. Lastly, we must transfer the total amount to purchase account. And that's all for purchase journal.
The definition of the sales account. The sales account, also known as sales book and sales day book, is a special journal that is used to record all credit sales. Every transaction that is entered in the sales journal essentially result in a debit to account receivable account and a credit to sales account. All cash sales are recorded in another special journal known as cash receipt journal. Here, the term sales refer to the sale of only those goods or merchandise in which the business normally deals. The sale of used or outdated assets such as old plant, machinery, equipment, and newspaper are not recorded in sales journal. These transactions are entered in general journal, also known as general proper. Format of sales journal. The information recorded in the sales journal depends on the nature and needs of each individual business. However, a commonly used format of sales journal is given below. Explanation of columns. First, date. This column is used to record the date on which the sale is made. Normally, it is the same date as written on the invoice. Second, account debited. This column is used to enter the name of customer whose individual account are maintained in account receivable subsidiary ledger. Third, invoice number. The sales invoice number is written in this column. Post reference. The entires in sales journal are posted on daily basis to relevant account in account receivable subsidiary ledger. The post reference is used to enter account number of individual accounts in the account receivable subsidiary ledger in which the entires are posted. And then, account receivable and sales. In this column, the net amount receivable from customer is written in the general ledger. The account receivable is debited and sales account is credited by the total of this column. Cost of goods sold, and inventory. In this column, the cost price of the merchandise sold is entered. In general ledger, the cost of goods sold account is debited and inventory account is credited by the total of this column.
Next, I would like to share to you guys about what is sales return journal. Sales return journal is a book in which seller record all the sales that have been returned to him by his customer. Sales return journal is also known as returns inwards books and sales return day book. A seller must expect in the course of business that some of his customer will return goods for some solid reason. When a debit note is received along with the goods returned from the buyer, it is a claim on the seller. If this claim is accepted by the seller, then he make out a credit note in duplicate. It is usually printed in red ink, signifying that the customer claim has been accepted and his account has been given the required credit. The top copy is sent to the buyer who has returned the goods, and the second copy is given to the clerk in the account department who enter it into the sales return journal. Next, I would like to share to you guys the example transaction that have been used to sales return journal. Imran returned RM200 defective goods on 5 February. That means Imran he returned goods to the seller because a defective goods. So that 5 February we write on date, and the particular is Imran because Imran returned to seller. So the RM200 we put on amount that he have been returned.
Return outwards refer to the goods returned by a business to its supplier. There are goods that already been bought, but because of the business unsatisfactory, the goods were returned back to the supplier. Return outwards, also known as the purchase return. The question is, what is return outwards journal? Return outwards journal is a journal that records every purchase return to the supplier. A credit note will be sent by the supplier to the business. The liability of the business to the supplier has been reduced the return accordingly. The business will use the document to record the return outwards in the return outwards journal. Now this is how a return outwards journal looks like. Starting from the first column, the date of the return were made. Next column is the particular, which is the name of the supplier. Third column would be the folio. Then on the fourth column is the reference. Lastly is the price in RM, which will tell the business how much is the price of the purchase return. Here's an example of return outwards journal. The business bought goods from ALEEYA, Sdn Brd on 18 November, but the business returned goods to ALEEYA Sdn Brd due to damage of the goods. So we record the date of the purchase return were made. Then we record the name of the supplier, which is ALEEYA Sdn Brd on the particular column. Next, on the folio and the reference is not available. Therefore, we don't need to record anything on that column. Next, we record the price of the return in RM. Lastly, we transfer the total amount to account. And that's all for return outwards journal.
What is the general journal? The general journal is part of the accounting record keeping system. When an event occurs that must be recorded, it recorded a transaction and may be recorded in specialty journal or in the general journal. There are 4 specialty journals, which are so named because specific types of routine transactions are recorded in them. These journals are the sales journal, cash receipt journal, purchase journal, and cash disbursement journal. Journal entry format. Transactions are recorded in all of the various journals in a debit and credit format. and are recorded in order by date, with the earliest entries being recorded first. These entries are called journal entries since they are entries into journals. Each journal entry includes the date, the amount of the debit and credit, the title of the account being debited and credited, with the title of the credit account being indebted, and also a short narration of why the journal entry is being recorded. Journal process flow. After the transactions are recorded in this journal, a summary of all the transactions is posted in each journal to general ledger, which contains all of a company's account, and account is spread, detailed, recorded, executed with a specific asset, liability, equity, revenue, or expense item. Example of account are account receivable for asset account, account payable for liability account, retained earnings for equity accounts, product sales for revenue account, and cost of goods sold for expense account.
Next, I will share about cash receipt journal. What is cash receipt journal? Okay, so cash receipt journal is used to record all transactions involve the receipt of cash, including transactions such as marketable security, investment of capital by the property or owner, cash sale, sale of an asset for cash, collections from customer, collection of interest, dividend or rent, loan from an individual, bank or any others, and other financial institution. Next, I will share to get example cash receipt journal. On 28, receive check 900 from Abu. So Abu give check 900 we receive from Abu. So that Abu is particular 900 we put on bank because check is from bank, so we put bank, and also we put in an account receivable because we receive from Abu. Next transaction is cash sale amount 300 on 29 January, so that we put January 29 on date, and also we put sale on particular, and then we put 300 on cash and sale because we want to balance our account. Why on cash, bank and discount alone is debit, and sales account receipt and others is credit, so we want to balance our account.
What is cash payment journal? A cash payment journal is a special journal that records all the payments that the business made by cash. This special journal is created when the business makes the accounting records using the accounting manual, and many cash payments transactions occur, especially when there are large payment transactions that occur in the business every day. Records these transactions separately from the general journal help the business reduce large amounts of transactions from the general journal. This is how a cash payment journal looks like. Starting from the first column, the date of the cash payment made. Next column is the particular. The third column would be the folio. And then on the fourth column is cash. After that, there is column for a bank. On the fifth column is a discount received. Also, there is a column for a purchase. And the seventh column is the account payable. And lastly is for other.